Hello, hello, hello. This is Thoughtful ASMR back again. And I'm very lucky today to have a live model again. And we have pre-selected a beautiful array of triggers that is handpicked for Syddo's personal ASMR preferences. We are trying to create the ultimate relaxing ASMR environment. So I have made sure that we are lighting an incense stick that is of the smell preference of Syddo, and that would be lavender today. And then, as you may have noticed, we have some ambient forest sounds in the background of today's video, which was also selected by Syddo. So if you hear birds or a stream, it is not because I've moved or I'm on vacation. We are bringing the forest to us tonight. I also made sure Syddo was hydrated on this hot day. Some sparkling water. And we also have some apple slices to snack on in case we get hungry during the filming. We also went with a dim purple light as per Syddo's preferences, and we have a fantastic array of triggers, which you may have noticed I'm already launching into one. We might have to switch positions for some of the others, but we'll start here for now. Today I just want to start with some soft touches on Syddo's face as per her request. And I will get around to doing some brushing as well. And we're going to focus on, right now, the neck, the face, the hair, the scalp, but we will move at a certain point down to the arms and the hands for more soft touches and massage, and a little bit of palm reading. And then we're also going to do some ear-to-ear triggers. I think I'll try to sprinkle these in throughout. This position is good for ear-to-ear triggers. And I also think it's always interesting for somebody to put the headphones on and listen themselves to the triggers as they sound to the mic. And so we're gonna put the headphones on Syddo so she can have that experience as well. So I am going to start off with some light touches. This is a personal favorite trigger of mine, as you may have noticed. think that the face is very sensitive, very seldomly touched in a delicate manner. We may say rub our noses or our eyes. We may massage a bit of cream onto our face, but we're typically advised against touching our face too often. Well, I could speak for myself at least. I know that I got a lot of messages. I was always reading those magazines. A big focus in those magazines that would be on newsstands and grocery stores and whatnot would be two big things. It would be, before and after weight loss. And then they'd have all these articles just like desperately trying not to age and how to stay beautiful and keep your skin beautiful. And not only was I advised in these articles against touching my face, and some of it makes sense to not rub your face too harshly, but at the same time, we're all gonna get wrinkles at the end of the day. And also when I was younger, I would definitely suffer from acne, and so if I touched my face, then I would almost certainly have a breakout. But nowadays, I don't break out as often, and for today I've of course washed my hands to keep them free of any pore clogging oil. And I can just be extra gentle because we have the time. We set aside this time and there's nothing else that we need to do, so there's no reason not to be here and focus on the relaxing sensations. Nothing else is pressing at the moment. There's nothing that can't wait. I've taken this time to prioritize relaxation, and that's a very beautiful thing. So let's make the most of this time. I'm also going to do a gentle scalp massage as a part of my trigger medley. You may have noticed how gorgeous Syddo's hair is, although it's a bit dark out, or well, dark in this room, which is to keep it relaxing for both you and Syddo. But I think you should be able to tell how beautifully curly her hair is, and she was explaining to me before this how she was curling it, and it's lovely, and I might try it at some point. It looks beautiful. Of course, I've messed it up quite a bit now, but she was rocking this sort of 70s look. With the side bangs, the long sort of side bangs, and the full curly hair. So of course, Syddo takes excellent Syddo takes excellent care of her hair. So her scalp is very healthy. It's very nourished. You can tell how strong her hair is from the roots to the tips. And for the scalp massage, I am putting down a bit more pressure. I think we are sort of desensitized to lighter pressure on our scalp because our hair is always sort of minimally tugging at it. So to sort of get a felt sensation, I just apply slightly more pressure, but still not too much, just enough to be felt, just enough to relax the follicles and the scalp. And we can do more of this as well as when Syddo turns over. For now, just focusing on the scalp around the temples, which is always a spot that I've found quite relaxing. To soothe myself whenever I get headaches. For a long time, I would just put my fingers here and lightly feel my pulse underneath. And then I can also go to the top of the head here, the crown of the head, I believe. I will say I don't often touch my scalp with my hands, so it definitely is a nice sensation. Similar to my face, I try to avoid getting grease in my hair, and of course I'll absentmindedly play with the ends like this. I will less often give myself a scalp massage, but I think it is something that would be a nice thing to incorporate into self-massage. I also want to make sure I'm paying close attention to Syddo's hair and playing with her hair sufficiently. Of course, at the ends here, she has these beautiful curls. You can sort of wrap around your finger. I don't know if you guys did that with any of your friends in school, but certainly if we had a friend who had sort of these loose curls like this, then if she was alright with it, we would, play with her hair and twirl it around our fingers and see what curls would stick in our hand. So if you watch my videos, you know that I always love triggers that harken back to childhood and to, innocent bonding between friends. A lovely thing about elementary school is I felt quite bonded to my loved ones and my friends. I don't actually keep in touch with any people from that time that aren't family friends, but my closest school friends, I felt like they knew my heart and soul, and I felt like they were like sisters to me. And I think I went through a phase in high school, middle school, into college. When you learn to mask parts of yourself to avoid vulnerability and avoid rejection, to be accepted, to be loved, to figure out who you are. Coming out of college, I definitely feel like, the people who you stay in touch with are a smaller group that you can devote more time and attention to in many ways, although there are many adult things that might take up our time now. There's a little less time to hang out. I do feel that the individual bonds are more, maybe not, it's generalizing, because I definitely have very intimate bonds with people throughout college, but it's easier to feel open with the people in my life, and that's easier to relax. It's easier to make social time be restorative instead of draining, and can feel more connected to the people in your life when being more authentic and less caught up in fitting in, and it's quite a lovely thing. So I think that those pure-hearted moments of connection are not behind me or relegated to my childhood, but can just continue to blossom and grow throughout my life. And it definitely gives me a lot of fulfillment to recapture any of those moments and make them a part of my life today. I think because adults have had to learn how to not be self-conscious versus children who just naturally aren't. They haven't learned to be self-conscious. It's like you have to learn and unlearn. So I always try to channel that self, which in many ways is probably more my natural state than the one I was conditioned to. Wow, do you see how beautiful these curls are? They just sort of naturally form together as I run my fingers through them. And wrap my fingers around each one. It just bounces back into place like that. Your friends? My mom. Oh, your mom. Would it put you to sleep? That would make my mom never trace my face. I think she would trace my arms until I went to sleep. I love face tracing though. I could watch face tracing ASMR videos for hours and hours and hours. I have my favorites that I go back to that I've, linked in a bunch of my other videos. But I always love when people do new face tracing videos as well. Never gets old. That's the thing I like about ASMR too, is I feel like there's room for everybody. There's never enough ASMR. The limit does not exist. Wow, this is a nice big curl that came up just from that one. I love seeing the different curls that form just by running my fingers through Syddo's hair. So one of my fingertips might be slightly rougher because I cut myself while cooking the other night, as one does. But it's mostly healed. Just might be slightly uneven, but nothing that would be disruptive, I hope. I find it very satisfying for face tracing of the third eye region. I don't know why. I think it's just satisfying to sort of follow the gap between the eyebrows in this nice and symmetric way. And then the forehead is this blank canvas just waiting to be ASMR'd. So I have a brush here, as you can see, and that's great because I thought this would be a good opportunity to give Syddo some real ear-to-ear sounds. So as you can see, I have this brush here which is brand new and has this packaging. The packaging is just extra tingly, and I love this sort of plasticky packaging. I think it makes really nice sounds just with the fingertips, and having real in-person ear-to-ear sounds is an extra treat. So I'm going to put it up to the mic so you guys can hear this packaging as well. It's nice, plasticky. So the texture, of the brush itself is extremely soft and fluffy. I got a bigger brush with less dense bristles, but they are extra soft. So we can brush all sides of the face, slowly, slowly, slowly. Right along the hairline and the jawline. Go very gently across the temples, like we were discussing before. Very slowly. The other side. Start to go down the nose, the nose, and across the forehead. A little bit across the eyebrows, and then the eyes. It's so soft that even the fragile eye area is going to get a little bit of brushing. I also think it's lovely to go down the wings of the nose. The wings of the nose. Sorry, you can sneeze. There you go. Anytime you need to, don't worry about it. So I'm going to move from, we're going to go back to brushing, in other areas, but going to start to do a bit more massage. So we're going to do massage from this side for the face. We already did a little scalp massage. We'll do a little bit of the neck and the shoulders as well. And then we will finally move down to the arms and the hands to do some triggers like that. So when I'm massaging the face, I don't go that much more intensely than when I am doing soft touches. It's still a very fragile area. It's a very thin layer of skin on the face. It has a lot of moving parts. You know, you need to have your organs for eating and for seeing, and then not to mention the whole brain back here. So you want to be real gentle with the face, of course. So I just do little small circular movements with my fingertips. Just enough to get a bit of movement for the lymph fluid in the face, and it's good to sort of push it to the side because your lymph nodes are down here. You want to direct any of the lymph fluid gently, gently, gently down to those nodes, because while we have mechanisms for pumping blood and things like that, there's no equivalent mechanism to pump the lymph fluid throughout your body. It is just pushed around based on the movement of your muscles and your skin. That's why it's always a good idea to, well, one of many reasons why it's a good idea to move around and to move your muscles around and just make sure that everything is draining the way it needs to, and everything's working the way it needs to. And if you're really extra, you can also give yourself these lymph node massages. And that'll also help. Because I guess we don't really exercise our faces that much, even when we do move around. I guess we smile and we laugh and stuff, so who knows? Maybe that's enough. But either way, it feels quite nice, so why not? What's the downside? I don't see one. I can't stop thinking about the word node. Node. And node. Gonad. Trigger word. Here. Gonad is. Go. Nad. Sorry. Hey now. Here, gonad. Come on. Get. Why did I start it if I didn't have a good way to finish it? It's okay. I'll think of it probably in like 2 hours. I also was thinking oh yeah. They all want things. The scarecrow wants the brain. I only had brain. Just gonna do a little bit of massage down the neck as well. It has the big job of keeping our big heavy heads upright all day. For that, we appreciate the neck. No matter what kind of neck you have, it's holding up your head. So, that's a nice thing. I'm glad for it. And it's always nice to give your neck time to relax. Which is why it's always nice to lay down, but also might be nice to work through any tension in the muscles. Now the front part of the neck, I have to be a little bit more gentle with, because of course you have the throat and the, different airways, and it's a lot of important stuff up here. Floating bowl. Isn't there like a floating bone in your neck? Is there? It's like a horseshoe shape. Oh wow, I'm gonna look it up. If I find anything, I'll put the Wikipedia article in the description. That sounds cool. A floating bone. Thank you for floating bone. And we'll just do whatever sort of light massage on the shoulders we can do. Like that. Don't know how much the mic is picking up, but it's a nice crinkly shirt that Syddo has. I don't know if you know this, but Gentle Whispering, or Maria, who's like the god of ASMR, she has a bunch of crinkly shirt videos because she just accidentally wore one in a video and it ended up being a fan favorite. So she started making videos that feature a wide array of crinkly shirts. Start to go down the arms a little bit here with this massage. sound interesting at all? Does it make a tiny sound? Like a swoosh. So for the next part of the video, we are going to do some arm touches, arm brushing, arm massage, and some palm reading even as well. So you can see we have Syddo's arm here, and we'll focus on the forearm mostly. Definitely do some soft touches on the arm crease, because we all know that is a favorite of mine. But we're just gonna do a mix and a medley of sensations. We'll start with this arm, but we will go on to the other as well. We are making sure Syddo is hydrated and fed and comfortable. Sort of mixing together the brushing and the soft touch trigger just to see. Sometimes having the dual sensations is extra triggering. Like triggers, tingles. So we also have the other arm. We are equal to our arms here. We are going to give it the same treatment that we gave the first arm, which is gentle, soft touches and gentle, soft brushes. Makes the world go round. Love, gentle, gentle touches. Soothing caresses. These are things that remind you of life's simple pleasures and that bring you into the present moment and make you realize that you already possess things that one might consider superpowers, like, what if we meet aliens and they can't smell like we smell? Do you think it would be considered a superpower? And you can sort of think about all your senses and everything your body is capable of. And then sit in awe of the abilities that you hold just by existing. The power that sits inside you that you don't need to earn. It's just being alive and being present, being conscious. Of course, we don't have full control over our mind, but we can control our minds and ourselves far more than we can control the outside circumstances that we find ourselves in. So there's this joyful feeling of freedom in the mind. I can think whatever I want. I can create worlds in my imagination. I can write a musical about a pretty dewdrop that I see on a spider web in my mind. And nobody else needs to see it for it to be valid. If you've watched my Descartes videos, this might seem a bit reminiscent. Probably am influenced by all the philosophers that I read. I'll link these below as well, but I've also really been enjoying watching Dharma talks from Buddhist monasteries. Certain monasteries will put their live streams on YouTube, especially since the pandemic started. Many people were doing virtual events, so now there are these virtual records that now they're more available than they even were before the pandemic, which is one nice thing, at least. And I think that's sort of influencing my outlook lately as well. I have a lot of existential angst, but I find Buddhist philosophy to be very healing for me personally. So I sort of have this interest as well in the spiritual side of it, in the ways in which it can help us grapple with life's bigger questions about what the point is, how the best way to live is, how to cope with suffering. So I'll link below some videos that have been inspiring me recently, and hopefully they can resonate with you as well. Or at the very least, you'll sort of understand where my rambling is coming from, if that interests you at all. Now, another thing I do want to do while I have this palm here is to do a palm reading. Now, for that, I will need to look at a guide real quick. So, I have it pulled up and ready to go. So, first, I'll start by pointing out what all of the different lines are on the hand, and I'm also going to link below the guide that I'm using so that you guys know what I'm referencing, and that I can give some, of course, credit to the writer of this article about palm reading, because I will make no illusions. I am very beginner, very amateur. Have only looked at these things in on the internet mostly. Although I've always wanted to get my palm read in real life. So the heart line, oh I'm sorry, the lifeline is this one here, which extends around the thumb. And then we have the fate line that goes up through the center of the hand. And it is one of the fainter lines. We also have the headline, which sort of starts by the thumb and goes across but slants down. We have the infamous heart line here. And with those very basic elements in mind, I'm going to give Syddo a palm reading. So we're going to start with the lifeline, which is this one here. And the lifeline, longer is better. The lifeline is associated with how long a person lives. So of course, one would likely want their lifeline to be long. I do see that Syddo's is well defined and long. And since it has a big arc, and it looks clear, the person is energetic and vibrant, which can certainly be said of Syddo. Now, if it's near to the thumb, which Syddo's is not, it's a sign that you get easily tired and exhausted, so by that logic, I believe that Syddo does not easily get tired or exhausted. She definitely works very hard and has a lot going on at all times, so I would believe that, even though she probably is quite exhausted a lot. And I don't see very significant breaks on this line. So certain breaks are thought to indicate periods of sickness or illness, which I'm not seeing very much of, which is a good sign. So now moving on to the heart line, which is also called the love line, which is this one to the side here, I believe, or yes, this one to the side. It seems like Syddo's heart line and head line are a bit attached. Well, at least at the source over here, all of the lines are very intermingled. So let's just look at the heart line. It is long. It goes across the entire hand. And that indicates that Syddo is a good lover. sweet, understanding, and romantic. Now, since her heart line starts from the index finger all the way across here, that means that a happy love experience is predicted. So very good news. Now it's a bit curved, but it doesn't really seem like there are many breaks or holes, which is another good sign. A big rise and fall might mean that someone will fall in love with several people in life, and there's a little bit of a hill, so I think that means it could be indicated somewhere in the middle where you won't necessarily just fall in love once and have it be very straightforward, but that you might have a few or a couple loves in your life. Now for the money line, or the fate line, is the one that goes straight up the middle here. It stretches from the wrist to the middle finger, typically, although it's fainter. Now, if your money line / fate line and your lifeline start from the same source, it means that a person is ambitious and has strong self-confidence. And you can see that is the case with Syddo here. And it's pretty straight. But it does seem to branch and divide, which is said to indicate that someone might have a few jobs in their life. They might have a side business. They might work on many projects for their career. And then, since most of these lines are straight and clear, it means that Syddo has a good and lucky future and doesn't need to do much to change their life. It's stable and on course. And finally, so the headline here starts from the same place as the heart line and the lifeline, but it slants downward here. Starts between the index finger and the thumb, and then will stretch to the other side of the palm, looking like it's dividing it in half, but Syddo's does not quite reach all the way across the palm. It's a little bit, it stops before the pinky. So the clearness, the thinness, and length of the line reflect the mental concentration and cleverness. So Syddo has a big arch here, I would say. Definitely is arching downwards. And that means that Syddo is rich in creativity. And hers is short, which means that one has more of a chance of physical achievements than mental ones, although I'm not sure about that. And, I mean, I guess it's sort of subjective what would be considered short anyways, because it does extend most of the way across the hand, if not all the way, so. And at the end of the day, I'm very amateur at palm reading, so it's more for the ASMR than anything else. And because it's fun. So that's a little bit of palm reading that we have. So for one last nice surprise, I'm going to put some headphones on Syddo and do some fun triggers with the mic and just see if it would be triggering to Syddo. I'll sort of describe what I'm doing as I do it as well. So go ahead and pop those on. And can you hear? Can you hear? I can turn the volume up as well. Is that up or down? Up, good, good. So now Syddo has the headphones on and is hearing exactly what you are hearing. So sometimes ASMR is about recreating ASMR moments in reality, but sometimes ASMR is about creating a hyper reality where everything is more sensitive. I'm going back to the plastic covering of the makeup brush, but this time with no makeup brush. All of the sounds that I can do will be very light. Very light because I do not have long nails at the moment. I also was interested in the sounds of this San Pellegrino bottle. Get some water sounds, water sounds, water sounds, water sounds around your ears, your ears, water in your ears. And I like the sound of the fizz when I pour a little glass. Some of the apple slices for Syddo. Can do a dainty little crunch. So I would do more, but I think we're gonna have to wrap it up before my camera dies and my roommates come back. I do hope that this could be a very relaxing experience for you. I know I was very relaxed just building Syddo's relaxing realm, and I very much enjoyed creating this video, so I hope you can tell. I hope the love and connection comes through and gives you a sense of peace.